How's it going, friends? My name is Fringy. I think it's about time I made a substantial channel update, detailing my plans with YouTube and all manner of internet stuff moving forward. Before we start, I'd like to just say a quick thank you for helping me reach 5,000 subscribers. I'm glad so many of you have chosen to stick around. This year, I very much slowed down in producing videos for many reasons. Naturally, real-world responsibilities have been the major factor to this. I'm out a lot of the times, or otherwise working on something. People on this website are always desperate to claim to have a life, and you got me here wishing I had more time to actually make content and play video games. I enjoy it a lot, and I'm happy to see that I can actually make a positive impact on gaming. But the reality is that I, for at least a while, kind of became disinterested in doing videos because I got bored. I get bored doing the same thing over and over and over. It's why I tried many times to do different types of content, and then when I got really disheartened, when the bad videos I didn't like did well, and the legit good videos I put a lot of time into didn't perform as well. It's nobody's fault, but it was disheartening. My issue really began when I started venturing into drama videos. Despite actually making very few videos directly attacking any one individual, I always get the impression that a lot of people think that's what I do, and it's really not. Drama videos can be funny, but they're also a good way to cap your growth. You'll grow in this sector of the gaming community, but there's a stage you hit where your views bottom out to about 5 to 10,000 and you just don't grow anymore. And as a guy who actually likes to succeed, I'm not exactly fond of bottlenecking myself like that. I know that the drama videos get the most views, but they are, quite frankly, the videos I hate the most, primarily because they do no good. It's not like the people I've argued with have or ever will change their minds. And I may have changed the minds of a few individuals, but the reality is that most people already agree with me on these subjects. It's not like I'm in the minority on my opinions when it comes to that kind of stuff. However, the topics that have and always will be the focus of the channel are in contention all the time. There's no agreement among gamers because some people think that expecting a full game on release, unencumbered by DLC and microtransactions, is entitled. Which I hate because, yeah, I'm entitled to things when I pay for it. People always forget that games cost money. You're not getting something for free, you're buying a product. So the idea is to basically cut that stuff out almost entirely and get back on track, doing stuff that's actually worthwhile, and more importantly, than arguing with people that you cannot argue with. What I mean by that is getting back to what I originally did and what I want to do. So in this update, we're going through the plan moving forward. Reviews are coming back in full force under a new series title, as Fringy Reviews is pretty bland. Reviews didn't stop because I didn't like them, because I'm actually quite proud of the reviews that I did. It was more of an issue of consistent inconvenience. The review for The Witcher 3 didn't happen because it released 3 days before I went away for a week, and my PC stopped working when I wanted to record Splatoon footage. And then after that, game releases just dropped off the face of the planet. However, now that it's the holiday season, I've got plenty of games to choose from, and unfortunately not a lot of time to do it. To make sure I keep on top of it, I got myself a list of games I'm going to try to review for Q4. I've already started working on the first few reviews, starting with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, followed by Halo 5, and moving into November, we'll be tackling Black Ops 3, Fallout 4, and to round out the year, you'll get reviews for Rainbow Six Siege, Just Cause 3, and Xenoblade Chronicles X. The idea with reviews is to maintain some level of consistency with the uploads, so the target is at least 1 review per month, though I'd really like to get 2. I want it to be more like an actual series you recognize and want to watch instead of just another review littering the internet. More along the vein of Zero Punctuation, where there's critical assessment but entertainment value and some differentiation from the tons of reviews all over YouTube. So hold on to your butts because reviews are getting renewed focus. The few of you who have been watching my content since 2013 are likely familiar with the fact that I used to work on something of a timetable. I'd like to get back to something like that, though not necessarily as rigid as it was back then, as I have a lot less time on my hands. I want to release 1 game rant per week, each week on the same day, probably Sunday or Monday, so that you know when it's coming, as that is by far my most popular series. One of the failings of Game Rants has been something of a lack of identity. It's not a gaming news show, yet I relied on gaming news as a way to generate topics of discussion. But I don't enjoy rushing Game Rants, especially when I never create clickbait titles to capitalize off the news story anyway. I've got to do better in that regard. Another hurdle I need to overcome with Game Rants is really determining what length is appropriate for the videos. Whenever I'm writing an episode of Game Rants, I'm always targeting a 5-minute runtime, but that runtime has gradually increased as we've been approaching the 2-year anniversary of the series. My problem was with the fact that I always get comments from people who can't connect the dots. I like to assume people are smart enough to figure certain stuff out, and you guys usually are for the most part, but I'm getting sick and tired of having to respond to people who just couldn't figure out what I said by heavily implied statements. With this, as you would have seen in that video about paid promotions, I'm going to be creating some more long form videos to alleviate this problem. They're not marked with any series name because they're the types of videos I want to get spread around, not for the purpose of channel growth, but really to spread a message. I started with a video on paid promotion, and I've already got plenty of ideas for videos of that length, which will be coming down the line soon. Those videos will be more toned down in terms of vulgarity because unlike Game Rants, which is first and foremost designed to entertain, these videos are for achieving a purpose. One that, unfortunately, is difficult to achieve for me when so many people are just flat out against swearing and will not listen to you if you swear or say mean things. System Update is back in a different form. Instead of weekly news roundups, there'll be more digestible videos when news stories crop up. But rest assured, this isn't going to be the kind of, I just read articles from N4G bullshit. You know what I mean, completely piss poor effort and sheer laziness. These will be like condensed Game Rants, tell you the news and then explain my stance, so that means I won't be reporting on topics I don't have some level of interest in. There's a lot of lacking content on YouTube when it comes to gaming news coverage. You know, for every one channel that's good, you've got 15 uncharismatic, unprepared dipshits who just read articles they found on N4G and provide no actual contribution of their own. My goal is to actually apply some effort. I've already got an overlay, that's better than most people. I believe this will actually be a positive change for a few reasons, the primary one being that Game Rants can become an actual segment in and of itself, one that releases on something of a weekly basis without me rushing to discuss a news story and branding it as Game Rants when in essence Game Rants is not a news show, it's a gaming discussion show. I like to move forward more professionally as well. By this I don't mean I am so important and serious, I just mean conducting myself in ways that aren't necessarily as alienating while still making the same points. The fact of the matter is that very rarely do people actually refute my points on the grounds of what they are. The only real criticism I've ever received are directed at my tone, volume, and vulgarity. You know, volume is easy, you can just fix that in post. Tone is something I'm not willing to change because you may not realize it, but the way you speak is impossible to fix. Try speaking differently to the way you do now. You'll be back to the way you normally speak in an hour. And I don't even really think it needs fixing. Am I aggressive in my voice? Yeah, I am. But is my voice unique and charismatic? Absolutely. That may sound arrogant, but I don't care. I'm right on this. As for swearing, I have toned down recently, but not to the point that I'm some lobotomized goober who sounds so run-of-the-mill and boring. But nor am I one of those hyper dudes who makes the smallest tidbits of news sound so important, like other people who shall remain nameless, who knowingly profit off encouraging children to spend hundreds of dollars of microtransactions in video games. I barely put much thought into it, but I imagine that I'll eventually start a podcast too. Don't ask me if you can be on it, because no, and haven't even really put that much thought into it, but there'll be more on that later. I barely put much thought into this, but I'll eventually start a podcast. Don't ask me if you can be on it, because I haven't even really put much thought into it, and there will be more on that later. At some stage, I'll also get back to working on the website. I've been AWOL on there for months now, but I have some ideas on what I'm going to do with it, so stay tuned for that. I'm relaunching the Patreon with updated goals and rewards because I so desperately want your money. I haven't really talked about the Patreon page at all since I started at the beginning of this year, which I imagine is why a lot of people probably don't even know it exists. I could put it higher in the description, but I don't really want to. I've been pretty upfront about the fact that I don't want to be a leech and rely on people giving me their money. I don't need it, and I'm never going to lie and claim that I need it to make videos, and anybody who isn't making some really high quality content comes and says they need it, they are lying to you. I go to university, I work, and I still make videos. The main goal of Patreon is that it will be able to supplement the channel to the point that the channel becomes self-reliant from a money standpoint. I've invested a lot into this channel from a monetary standpoint, and I've got other stuff to pay for, so I'd like to get it to where the money I make from what I do on the internet can buy me the games I want to review, the equipment I want to make, music, art, all that good stuff. I still like to push the Patreon to be where it's mutually beneficial. One of my goals with the Patreon was to be able to do giveaways so long as enough people were part of it, which is pretty self-explanatory. I don't want to be spending more money on giveaways than I'm making. I'm going to be putting scripts into a Google Drive folder so that people can see how videos come together, and potentially early access to videos through that as well, if you're a Patreon. For more information, just check out the Patreon page. Link is in the description. By the way, I have received more than a few messages and emails from people apologizing for not donating. You don't need to feel sorry about that, guys. You're not obligated to give me money. I mean, I'm humbled that any of you want to give me money. It really is humbling. But it's my job to earn it. You don't need to feel sorry about it. I also have something quite major in the works, which I recently alluded to, though that is still months away from completion, so I doubt you'll be hearing any more on it until the next year. But it's quite ambitious. I'm looking forward to showing it. That's about it for now. I'd really like some feedback on what you guys would like to see. I'm particularly dedicated to making entertaining, high-quality content, which I know I failed at achieving at many stages this year, but I'd like to correct course and really get back to doing the content I like making. Thanks for the support, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.